Snap.
I have a secret talent. I'm like incredible at poker.
Are you?
Yeah.
I can believe that. Poker face.
I'm so good at it. Because I'm not that competitive at it. So I'll just risk everything. But everyone thinks I'm like bluffing or whatever.
We just told everyone that's ever going to play with you now.
I was about to say, not anymore.
And Alex taught me how to play. And now he's literally never beat me. After he taught me.
Chess next.
Yeah. Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. I feel like we live up to that statement.
Nothing is off limits.
We did. When I was on my way here, my husband was like, good luck. I was like, why don't we just go and talk? Like, this isn't work.
This pod is a really good example of what we get up to every day at work. Like, there's no special topics. There's no, there's a little bit of pre-organisation from Lucy and the team, no doubt, but it's genuinely unscripted and it is like you're working in an office with us.
Sometimes I wish we did have microphones in the office.
To capture
some of the
good
conversations
bits.
we've had, I've been like, this is content.
This is
We definitely
gold.
should. We need to wear little mics.
Yeah, but then you
Constantly.
feel like people come to our office and work with us even if they're not there. So
Okay, I've got a controversial opinion. It's quite a topical one. You might get a bit riled up by this one. So, women will never be equal in sports.
Well, this is apt, and it depends when you're watching this back, but we are in the midst of the Euros at the moment, and there's been a lot of stuff going around because England aren't performing particularly well. We're still progressing through, but I saw some great memes that were like, oh, aren't the male lionesses not doing very well this year? And I enjoyed them immensely. And that was on the back of, as well, the same day, we saw the news that the Manchester United team the men's first team are effectively booting out the women out of the women's
brand new,
state-of-the-art, specifically built and funded for the women's team training complex. And the women have to go in basically porta cabins.
and Portaloos.
And Portaloos for the foreseeable, whilst the men's Carrington ground gets regenerated. And it's just taking the absolute piss, to be honest.
It's actually, it's angered loads of men as well. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's just like, hang on a minute. Aren't we getting better at this? Like, they did what?
Yeah.
After dining out on the PR last year of being the first female built for female team, professional training ground, 50 million, la da 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 da. Sorry, can you leave? Can you pack your bags and go to the temporary housing for, the next year, the temporary units? It's like when you went to school and remember the temporary classrooms? Well, they never went. So
They're still there. And then I saw as well an article, Leah Williamson, who's the England captain, she was saying that basically she's still keeping her accountancy degree on the side because she won't have enough to retire because the
England captain.
Yeah, the England Lionesses captain. I think her annual salary is around £200,000, I think. And she's like, that's basically not enough to retire on. I don't doubt that she gets more out of brand sponsorships and things because I do see her, she like her PR team are working hard and rightly so.
But if you compared it to the
I think Harry Kane is on
Cane's.
£400,000 a week.
Oh my God.
£400,000 a week and she's on £200,000 a year. So no.
And they won.
Exactly. The male lionesses are not winning and the female lionesses are. So I think it's very topical. I've just given 3 examples whereby I just thought I thought as a society we'd come such a long way, but I feel like the stats and evidence are telling us not. And I've also, before we came in here, again, just seen something about Burnley women's as well.
What did you see?
FC not being the pay, gender pay gap is apparently atrocious. And the lady that was writing about it, her daughter's in the academy.
Football club.
Yes.
Yeah, so not like, because obviously there's a pay gap between the
I think
players.
in the football
because-
club as well.
Oh my God.
And the
Come on, Burnley, do better.
Yeah, someone's daughter is in the academy there, and she was like, "I'm just so disappointed. I thought we'd kind of moved on. I thought we'd progress, and I thought we'd progressed as well." And I think outwardly, from a PR perspective, the country likes to pat women on the head and shout about the success of women's football, and it's coming into its own, and we've got some friends that are in that sector, but
long way to go.
The money's just not following, and that's what's important for women, to have a strong financial future, and we're not really setting the best example, are we?
Definitely not. Another thing that kind of sparked the thought for me is, I don't know if you've seen the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
DCC.
DCC.
Yes, I have. It's like your high kick.
Now
After
do
the
the
high
splits.
kick, you'd have to take me to the hospital. It's like hamstring
Giving injury.
issues. Yeah.
So one of the like alumni, I'm gonna say, came out on the program on Netflix and said that she was basically on the wage of like a Chick-fil-A worker working part-time. And is it the CEO? Is she the CEO? Charlotte?
She's the owner's daughter, but she's a co-owner and
Yeah.
she's a chief brand officer.
So she's basically saying that the girls should just be grateful for the opportunity.
It's about
a
making
privilege.
friends.
It's a privilege.
They're really lucky. There's not many opportunities to join such a strong brand. Oh my God. I mean, it's really interesting. I've liked how in the documentary, and it is worth a watch, especially if it's got a little bit of like X Factor in it where like they're all getting picked and it's auditions and stuff. And they have done what's and all. Like I think sometimes these clubs can be accused of hiding things or being positioned in a certain way. But I have, like, they do talk about the pay. What I hadn't realised for a while, like when you see them training, because these are athletes. Like I was in the gym the next day after it doing some cardio, and I was like, how did they do these high kicks and high kicks and high kicks and high kicks and do it again and do it again? And they're so fit. They've done a full day of work. They train in the evening, but because they're under these big floodlights, I just kept thinking it was day. And they train from like 6 p.m. till like gone midnight after doing a full shift as a nurse or someone in sales or someone who's a teacher. That what on earth? Because they have to travel with the team, they have to play, they have to travel sometimes, they have to train, they have to do the matches, they do appearances as well.
They are part of the brand though. Like they're a valuable asset. So for me, they're a valuable commercial asset that should be paid in the same way. Didn't you say that the mascot gets paid a ridiculous
$100,000 a year apparently just to be the
wearing
mascot?
A fucking hat.
No one even knows who he is.
What? You tell me what it is. Like
they could share it out between anyone. No one would have any idea.
But the cheerleaders, not only are they synonymous with Dallas Cowboys, like everyone knows about the cheerleaders. That's why they're so special. And people go to see them and the spectacle as well as the football players. But the guy that owns the Dallas Cowboys is worth, I think, $14 billion. 14 billion. If I've got that wrong, it's still $1 billion. There was $1 billion in there.
There's $1 billion there.
Because I think his daughter alone is worth $100 million, and is set to inherit like the rest of it. Are you kidding me that even if you paid them all $100,000, which by the way is not a lot of money in America after taxes and stuff, and with all the
health
time
insurance and
not for if you commensurate with what the men are earning. And again, yes, it is the football game, so I appreciate the football players are going to earn more, but we're talking $20,000. That those cheerleaders, I would love to know they get a cut of the documentary. Bet they don't. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Definitely not. It's
worth a watch, but I would just be really interested to see what people think about it, because when you really watch it, and some of the guys listening to this, I want you to watch it, because if you've not watched it, you think it's just a documentary about cheerleaders. They are athletes. When you see what they can do and how hard they have to train to get it absolutely perfect, it's just like the guys training for the games. Yeah. It's just the same. And also it's just amazing seeing them do Thunderstruck. It is really good. I keep seeing people on TikTok recreating it.
Because that's next week's pod. Because I'm not on TikTok, what was the reaction to, like, what's been the reaction?
Everyone's just kind of hating on what's her name?
Female,
Charlotte? Yeah.
Oh,
not the ultimate owner. That's true. But she was the one that said,
yes.
It's a privilege.
They should, but yeah, there's a whole suite of men and women senior at the Dallas Cowboys that could do better. People are just calling out and going, are you kidding me? They should be lucky. And it's really interesting because a lot of the alumni, like from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, going, oh, we're part of the sisterhood and we're all so lucky. And everyone was just made to feel so lucky. And I really get this vibe now that especially younger generations are going, no, that's not enough. Like, so what? Like, great, but I'm working and generating revenue and commercial benefit for the organisation. So people are saying that, and then lots of people are doing high kicks.
It's a good bill. It's a good balance.
It's a good balance. I would recommend watching it. I would.
Definitely.
I don't think that was very controversial. And you thought we were going to be opinionated. More for you.
Time for our first dilemma. My partner wants to take out car finance. Hi ladies, I could really use some advice. My partner has his heart set on taking out finance for an expensive new car. While I understand his want for a new car, as it's what he's interested in, I'm worried about how this will impact our monthly budget. We're currently on a mission to pay down our mortgage as quickly as possible, and adding a hefty car payment would majorly slow down our progress. I've tried discussing it with him many times, but he seems very focused on getting this car and doesn't fully appreciate the financial strain it could cause. His argument is that life is too short and that we deserve to enjoy our money that we work hard for. I don't want to come off as unsupportive or start a conflict, but I also don't want to jeopardise our goals. How can I communicate the importance of prioritising our mortgage without causing tension? What should we do to find balance? P.S. Our journey to paying down our mortgage has seemed like a long one, and I do worry that we could be putting too much pressure on it.
That was going to be the first thing I picked up on, which was to stop doing, I'm anti-car finance, so I'm going to go there, but to stop doing anything and everything because you're focusing on paying down a mortgage is a long slog. That feels like a long, miserable journey. Like the best evidence I've seen when people are paying off a mortgage is when I'm thinking about Sarah and her wonderful blog that's in the app at the moment, and she's going to New York with her mum. She is hammering that mortgage, but she could overpay the mortgage and not go to New York. But she's going to New York. And so there's an element of unless it's within touching distance, which it doesn't sound like it is, we have to live a little. And if he likes cars and would like a new car, can there be a way that it's incorporated, but you save up and pay cash for it and you upgrade your current one, save up the difference, sell your current one and buy a new one? I definitely think that car finance is not the answer. Like they don't, and he will absolutely get a bougie one because we all do, because the monthly payment, it's not you don't look at the full value. But if he's ready for a new car, if that's in the foreseeable future, I would look at, can you split your mortgage overpayments and build up a savings pot, or pause them and lean into that for him, because you kind of get that balance.
Yeah, there's got to be some compromise. I don't agree when so many people say, oh, life's for living. And if we said that about everything, we probably wouldn't all be living with a stable roof over our heads and jobs and
YOLO.
all the fun adult stuff that we have to think about, like responsibilities. But we're not about being frugal here. So you absolutely can live life as in buy things you want to buy and have passions that cost money. But yeah, if it sounds like he wants a bougie car, which is why he's getting it on finance, because otherwise you could do a quick stop, like we're going to save hard for a few months and then buy a car, or even a couple of years. But my question to him would just be, the car that you're going to choose, would you pay outright for it in cash, knowing that your ultimate goal between you is to pay off the mortgage? I'm assuming it would be over 30 grand because that's what cars are at the moment. Otherwise, like we say, you could save up for it in cash. That does push that dream of paying off, being mortgage free, further away. It's quite a hefty bit of cash.
Here's one for you. How do you address in a couple when you want something quite expensive and there's either an agreed goal or maybe it's hers and she's decided it's the couple's goal? So we're paying off our mortgage. He's like, okay, but how would you let's make it not a car, but let's make it a holiday that you want to go on with your friends, or is it some new boobs, or is it, a handbag?
PowerPoint presentation.
I would get Canva open. I would download the prettiest presentation template.
Snacks, drinks. Are you comfortable, sir?
And then
do you want a massage?
The aim of the thing is to make it seem like it's their idea.
Yeah. Do you remember that day when you said we should live life a bit more? I fully agree with you. Yeah. And I'm going to help make your dreams come true. I am honestly a car salesman. I could sell anything.
Yeah. Gaslight.
But because to be fair, he's obviously not pitched it to her. He's
not done a presentation. That's where he's gone wrong.
Didn't put the effort in.
I mean, I like what you said about being mortgage free should be a goal for when it's in reaching distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you've got 10, 20 years left.
Yeah. You can't stop living. And living doesn't mean buying an expensive car as well. So he probably needs to think about what would benefit us both, maybe. The car might benefit them both. It sounds like she's not on board. So it is, budgeting as a couple is all about compromise.
She should counter him and go, no, come back with another idea.
Yeah.
Or go rethink it. Do you mark the work? Well done.
Well, actually,
good effort.
on that, she could model it and say, okay, if you get the car, that means that we have this X amount less each month. So that means I'm going to be really like presumptuous here. Your season ticket's going to have to go next year because that monthly payment is the same as your Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool season ticket. And
God, he's going to all three. No wonder he's no money.
I'm like giving him an option. He could. I don't know who he supports. And it could be like that lad's holiday that you wanted to go on. Probably can't go on that this year. That golf trip that you want to go on ain't going to happen, honey. Like, there's got to be some sort of compromise. You have to financially model stuff. That's Laura's thing that she always taught me. Like, if you've got an idea that you want to like run with, just take a pause and do a little financial model and then present it back to your team, i.e. your partner, your friends, your family, whatever, and talk through it together.
That can be a scrap of paper. It doesn't need to be a whizzy thing, but we don't always think through the financial impact of it because sometimes it's not that big an impact. And we go,
I worry about so much stuff that, and Laura goes, Holly, that's literally a £10 decision. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Agonising over it. I was like, you just cost us £10 talking about it.
So sometimes it doesn't have to be like that big of a decision.
Yeah, that's very true. I wonder how, if they're on a mission now to pay down their mortgage, I wonder how many like extra years that gives them. Because if it is like 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing though is if they both want to pay down their mortgage, they clearly love the idea of not having payments. So adding a car finance payment it's so contradictory. And so I think he should have a car if he wants a car and if that's what's special to him. I think it should be incorporated into the budget, even if it means for a period of time, anything that she likes is second. And that's because you can't do loads of stuff at once. You can't say for both of you a car. You can't, but see if you can keep, I mean, the interest rates at the moment with a mortgage, it's really nice to overpay your mortgage. Well, it's not nice. It's just more like it feels good that at least you're helping crack on with that. And so see if you can do both. And like I said, do 3 options. What does our budget look like if we save up for a car and don't overpay the mortgage? What happens if we scrap the car a day, you crack on with the one you've got and that's it, and we overpay the mortgage? And what's half and half? And again, I think you said this, budget therapy, like couple therapy, is making these decisions together. It's like really good training wheels for the rest of our lives. It's, having to, even at work, like come to a compromise when you're coming at it from 2 different angles. We're all different people. We've all got different priorities. The closer you can get to it, it's just such good training for life.
You don't want to be resentful about someone's financial decision in a couple. There's only 2 of you. There's nowhere else to blame. Like,
it's your fault.
It's always your fault though.
Never mind.
Never mind. Okay, I've got a community one. I feel like this is my favourite part of the podcast. I can't believe I've finally done it. I paid off all my credit cards today and shut them down. Over 3K paid off and shut down.
Yes. Bye.
I love the shut down. How aggressive. It's like, go on now, go. Walk out the door. It's like very final.
Yes.
Because I think that's really important. Like, if you're going to pay off the debt, like, buy card. Cut it up. I love seeing cut up credit cards.
Can you just cut up a credit card? Like,
have you never done it?
Let's do it now. Get it out.
Give me a debit card. She's not buying. Give me a debit card. Who uses them anymore anyway? Yeah. That's the thing actually with so I don't have a credit card. So presumably, can a credit card go in your digital wallet? Is this a stupid question?
Surely.
Yeah.
What? Like, see this, you can't, that or not. So
no friction.
You can't cut that up. But
you can delete it.
But you literally, you do that with a card that's expired. It's a thing that people like, make sure you, I don't know why.
Not even like 4.
You know what?
But like 50.
Actually, I've got...
Calvin knows. Like
confetti.
In case someone can go in, you always get those rumors, someone can go in your rubbish bin and stick it all back together. 12,000 pieces of a card
with an expired card.
Exactly.
Hacks.
I've got loads of cards, like bank cards that either have expired or I just don't use them because I've made like a switch account or something. I've got like a cupboard door, like a storage door that gets stuck all the time. So I've like cut a hook out of this, like all of my cards, but I always forget where they are. So you like
to break into your own cupboard?
Yeah, where all my like errors are, my suitcases.
So you can't cut them up then?
So technically I have cut up cards.
You have cut up cards, but
to open a cupboard.
To break into your own cupboard. Watch out, burglars.
Yeah.
You've got competition.
If you'd like to send us your win, please head to the community in the app or email it to thevault@financielle.com. Okay, I'm just going to throw in an extra little segment.
Ooh.
I'm going to pick on someone. I feel like I'm a teacher. Finally. Okay. We would really like you to review this podcast. Give us a rating of your choice, but 5 stars is preferred, whatever platform you're on. Laura, what review would you give us?
This podcast?
In like 2 sentences, you have to give us a review.
Okay, I'm going to review your podcast. Well, obviously 5 stars. What's going to happen? I would say The Vault makes money feel like it's for me and not for a load of boring people, and helps me feel like I'm not the only one that doesn't have my shit together. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That is
test.
pressure improv. Sweating.
Terrified.
Watch out next week,
Just
guys.
watch out for the next week. Yeah. Well, they've got time to prep now.
I've got knit on. I'm like literally
sweating.
where I'm
Lydia's left.
I'm sat on boot play and I've got knit on, and you're putting me on the spot.
Calvin, you're going to be next.
Yeah.
You're in this.
Calvin would nail it.
Okay, next dilemma. There's a lot of moving parts in this one, so keep your eyes
Keep it as an out.
Keep your eyes
Good job you had 4 cups
I know,
of
yeah.
tea.
I said keep your eyes peeled, but I meant keep your ears
Keep your eyes
peeled.
Keep your wits about you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Keep your ears
Concentrate.
open. Don't relax.
When at school, when the children aren't listening, the teacher goes, and they all do it back.
Oh.
Go on then.
Wait, what? Copy it.
You have to copy it. But it gets her attention.
Oh God. Forget it.
You
finished it.
You failed percussion.
Finished it. It made sense what she did. That's what I wanted to do.
Calvin can't breathe.
Hey, there we go. Oh my gosh. Now
Okay.
we're putting you on your toes.
Can you see how we're full of concentration as you asked us to be? We are in the
We
zone.
need a simpler rhythm. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll practice. We'll get a triangle.
Oh dear God. I can't wait to show my kids this.
They will not be impressed.
They think you're so cool. Not anymore.
Okay. We're stuck in £44,000 worth of debt. Me and my partner both work, but due to his business going under in March and having large debts from that, which we had to sort ourselves, our total personal debt has now spiraled to 44k. Although we are paying this off, it seems like a never-ending battle. Some of it was required due to a boiler that we found was leaking carbon dioxide shortly after the birth of our baby, so that was definitely a debt that I was willing to put on the card. And the rest was purely business debt, as my other half had let things get out of control and not told me. Put into the mix that we'd had a baby in January, an 8-year-old, a house renovation, and that we're meant to be getting married next year, it's all feeling a bit overwhelming. I started my financial journey a couple of months ago and it's going okay. I now have an emergency fund, though it's not a huge one, and I have sinking funds which I didn't even know were a thing until I did the playbook. But the emergency that we now face, having just returned to working in a new job, I've just found out I'm pregnant again. Our baby is only 5 months old. The financial situation if we had 2 children in nursery would be absolutely dire. Even if the next government does the subsidised hours, it feels like it would be pointless working, but we both have to be working in order to pay the bills and debts. It feels like we're forced to make a decision on continuing this pregnancy based on financial circumstances rather than on emotions, which is an extremely sensitive subject and I feel horrible about it. But we want our children to not have debt problems that we saw our parents growing up with. For context, I'm 40 this year and I really don't want to miss what could be a small window of chance to have another baby. Is there any advice for a couple trying to pay off a large amount of debt spread across 3 interest-heavy credit cards and 1 loan? Is it a bad idea to move to a long 0% if there is one we could even get? I've even thought about an IVA, but I'm terrified of them. Any advice would be greatly appreciated.
First of all, thank you for messaging in and well done for reading out that dilemma because it was a deep one.
I feel like I want to give her a hug first.
Yeah.
Like
kudos for actually writing in and wanting to do something about it. And the vault is a safe space, and that's what I'm glad we've created that for you to be able to write this type of dilemma in and trusting us to give you some advice on it.
It's like a mixing pot of lots of different things. And this is what's overwhelming about money, because it's not about the money. It's about life, and it's about decisions, good and bad. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's our own doing. We're all human, that get us into certain situations, whether it's like financial debt and stuff, and then emergencies that happen that we can't predict whether they're going to happen, the boiler breaking. Children is like, part of our life. Renovation is a part of life. And I think what's unfortunate for our listener is it's just this perfect storm of lots of things happening at once. And so first things first is you're going through a lot. It's a lot. And we hear you, and that's not as normal as these things happening one at a time and spreading out. So give yourself a little bit of space. And I think with Financielle, I'm so passionate about separating like life decisions from financial decisions, where they're like what I call basic needs. And I think being a parent's a basic need. I think we're not talking about someone that wants 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 children, and children are going to grow up in poverty because you just want lots of children. That's not what we're talking about here. And it's not for us to comment on whether you should or shouldn't continue with a pregnancy. But if you want more children, and if you want that child, it's a separate decision to then what you do about the money. You find a way, and we'll break it down bit by bit. But I don't know what you feel about that one, because we've heard that before about people not wanting to try for another baby because of, and I think that's a little bit different. But I think our advice on a similar podcast was the same, which is if you want a baby or another baby, you build the plan that will make that happen. And sometimes it means moving home, and sometimes it means this, and sometimes it means that. But you don't compromise it because you will regret it. And the rest of our life is not about how much money what big pile of money we're sat on.
No, definitely. And I think we always say control what you can control. And I would say there are a few things in that dilemma where they can take some control. So they talked about getting married next year. Pause the wedding. That's a harsh bit of reality check.
Chic registry office wedding.
I was just about to say a wedding.
I'm
literally
jealous of the
You've
cool.
took the words out my mouth.
Sophie Habu and
so
Jamie
many
Lang.
little, hacks that you can do now. For a wedding doesn't have to be a big white wedding with 100 guests and 50 guests at night and a sit down meal and a whatever. If it's so important,
that would be irresponsible. So that's where we'd come down hard on you, when you'd be like, no.
But I think
Can't
also
have all of it.
It's a bit of life admin to just take away for a while. It's not saying we're never going to get married, but there's now a new baby in the mix. You're going to be busy growing that baby. The last thing you want to do is just taking
running
one
around
more
after
thing.
a baby.
It's taking one thing off the table.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
What can we take off the table that's not going to go away forever, but will just let you feel a little bit lighter? Another one, house renovation. I don't know what state your house is. You could have taken down 4 walls. And it's crucial to get it back stable and in a safe position for you to be able to run a family home. But if we'd quite like to have an extension, we'd quite like to have this. I'm sorry, that's straight talking again. That's got to be put on the back burner. As long as you've got a warm, safe house, the renovation stops. There's absolutely no need to plow money into a house when you're busy growing a child and working out how to pay off these debts. In terms of the 3 debts that she's got, we talked a couple of weeks ago about a community member that had contacted the people that she had debt, and she contacted them to say, what can I do? I've committed to a debt-free journey. I think she even told them that she was doing Financielle, proved to them that she got an account. What can I do to make these debts more manageable? Because say that you've just found out you're pregnant, you've also got a 5-month-old, you've not even had a chance to return to work and create that kind of savings nest again. What can they do to help you? And they will. 9 times out of 10, absolutely. We've found community members too from the last episode, I remember, just reaching out and explaining the situation. But control the controllable, the 2 things that I mentioned that you absolutely can take some control over. So it lets you take a little bit of power back the situation, because it can feel very overwhelming and that you're stuck in the mud and you're not going to make any progress. I've just made 2 decisions for you. I've taken them off your plate.
But I think that is that's where we'll be harsh, because they're optional. And when you have that amount of debt, no matter whether it was luck or fault or a business that didn't work out, fine. And it's so common. And it does sound like that debt's going to be around for a while as you navigate trying to get your earnings up and trying to navigate 3 children. But you will be able to get rid of it. We've seen people do it, and you focus on your income. I think getting the cost of the debt down is really helpful. Like Holly said, reaching out to these companies, you don't have to jump straight to IVA. I applaud your
hesitance.
And kind of your reluctance to go down that route. I feel like obviously the debt charities are really, really helpful. So if you fancied picking up the phone to them and working some of it through with them and just sense checking the plan that you build, head to our community. Lots of people have been in really similar situations. And you're only a couple of months into Financielle. Like you do build momentum when you're on this journey. Reducing the cost of the debt would be really helpful, but looking to see what else you can do. And also, planning for, you've got a 5-month-old. And so you're not going to be doing a load of shifts in a shop. Like it's going to be
realistic.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, but there may be things that your partner can do to up his, or I think it's a him, his income during this time. There may be things that he can do to increase the family income that way. There may be some things that you can do on a weekend and he looks after the baby and the 8-year-old because, he's a parent as well, and the baby will be fine. Just as if you went out for the day with your friends, going out to work on a Saturday and Sunday, if he doesn't work those days, is something you could do as well. And it gives you that time and space because you'll be with your hands full. But it'll help you stockpile money. The interesting thing about the tax-free childcare scheme is you can open an account as long as you're not on maternity leave. So if you're technically on maternity leave.
I think she said she just returned to work, didn't she, and found out she was pregnant.
So if you've just returned to work, the minute you go back into work, you can open an account and start putting money in for help with tax-free childcare. But as you said it, and you do get free hours, and I suspect no matter who, what happens with government policy, it's really rare for anyone to roll back something that they've offered to parents and children.
It was so well received. I can't imagine that it'd get pulled.
It would be
anybody.
very unpopular, and it might not even get voted through. So kind of that's out of your control. So for now, presume that the hours are going to be there. And sometimes with early years with the children, it's about holding on.
Survival.
Just survival. Try and not let's get the debt down. Let's not grow it, and let's not keep it the same. Using lots of different hacks. And you might have to put a bit of work in together, whether it's him doing more and you doing a little bit on the side around your health and around your well-being.
I think Laura's right. In this time, it might not. We're very big on paying down debt. That's our thing. Help you pay down debt. But Laura's right. With your situation, I'm half tempted to tell you just to hold on and not add to the debt. Sometimes that's Laura's advice to people. If they're literally in a place where there's nowhere you can move, just not adding to the debt is a win in itself. And you're doing amazingly well. I know it's harsh, but sometimes you just need that person in the room to be like, by the way, those 2 things that you're trying to juggle along with the other 7, they can just go for now and be parked. And it's not that they're never going to happen. It's just that they're not going to happen right now. And that's okay.
You can have anything, but you can't have everything at the same time. I feel like she's doing amazing. You are doing amazing. Please do head to the community, ask other people, keep us updated as to what you decide to do. I imagine a Christmas check-in. I suspect that'll have gone down. You'll have moved some cards around where you can, and you'll be possibly planning for your next arrival and the whirlwind that comes with having 2 under 2. So good luck to you.
All the clothes that you've got for the 5-month-old.
Oh, boy or girl, they are wearing that outfit.
Every bit, every pram.
Oh my God. My
bath,
baby boy, he's not a baby anymore. I know he's 1, he's nearly 2, wears pink bobbles and he's got long hair like Erling Haaland. And everyone just says, oh, isn't she cute? And I go, yeah, she is. Because to be fair, she's got a pink bobbling because I am not buying blue ones. I've got lots of pink ones in my house. And he had the pram that we bought for Ava 13 years ago. We just paid for it to be reconditioned. Nothing new. This poor little boy has had some stuff from you, at least. You had the 2 boys.
Is he a poor little boy? He's like the happiest kid
going. Yeah, that proves
he's
it.
Fine. Kids were born in caves. That's what I saw someone the other day being like, kids were born in caves. Can you all stop buying shit for these kids? They're absolutely fine. Our parents always used to laugh. My nan used to be like, kids, you just used to put them in the bottom drawer.
Yeah, put them in the bottom drawer.
In a box or a bottom drawer. And they don't need a crib, don't need a cot. And it's just about stripping back.
Sometimes our children behave like Kilbar in a cave.
No comment. Get off social media because the comparison monster can strike.
No renovation accounts. Unfollow all Instagram renovation accounts.
Delete Pinterest, delete Instagram, and just go, like Laura said, just get into your family and just, it's survival mode, but enjoyment as well. Life can be really simple, but really, really good.
And also, there will be a point in your future where you look back and go, oh my God, that was a crazy time. Do you remember when we went through that? But there will be a time when you look back and the debt will be gone. You'll have 3 beautiful children. You'll be building up emergency savings for that next boiler that will break. It will. There'll be another one that'll go at some point. And you'll just be so proud of yourself. But sometimes if you're in the midst of, you can't see the wood for the trees, and like, you know, you're navigating the health complications of being pregnant and being a young mum of a young baby, you're going to do amazing. I'm excited for you, and thank you for asking us to give our 2 pence worth.
Any final words before we close the vault today?
I feel like we always finish on this, but that just lean on the community. There are people that will gladly give you their account of what they've been through, and I feel like it just gives people a little bit of hope, like if they can do it. And there's been some stories in our community, you know, in much dire straits than that community dilemma that had been written in, and they will come back on, like Laura said, at Christmas time 6 months later and be like, oh my God, I've literally been in the depths of this, and I've been a voyeur in this community and watched you all win, and now I'm finally going to share my win with you. So there's loads of people head down as well
they're inspired, and they go, right, I'm going to do it, and then eventually they go, I'm going to share. Also, I would love it if we could have a load of like tradies in the community. Imagine if it's like, because she's going through a renovation and say she's got like, she needs the wall plastering. Imagine him. So I could just imagine someone's like, oh, my brother's a plasterer, I'm going to send him around, like we could help, you know, like on
connect
those
people.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anyway, that's a pipe dream. But that was the last words.
Nice. Okay, that's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. And just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics. We are not giving financial advice.